In their first win of the season, it was a close game, a 2-1 win. James Snead had 1 goal, and Anthony McIntyre had 1 goal. Brandon Daughtry, the mainstay in the net for the Jackets last season, is back again. He played all 90 minutes, had 1 goal allowed, and 4 saves on the day. Then you look at that Pitt-Greensburg game, it was really an offensive explosion for the Waynesburg team. 6 goals, 2 of those by James Snead, 1 of those by Nick Brommer, 1 by Anthony McIntyre, 1 each from Colin Nelson, and Zach Benedict. Brandon Daughtry again played in net, had 4 saves, no goals allowed. And then taking a look at that last game against La Roche, a 3-1 win. James Snead again had 2 goals, 5 goals total in 3 games for him. Then you look at Cody Lemke, who had 1 goal and 2 shots on goal. And again, for Brandon Daughtry, in net only gave up that 1 goal and the 5 saves. So really, some great defense being played. Brandon Daughtry not having a ton of shots that he had to face, but he does have only 2 goals allowed so far this season. So really, the story of this season, I think, so far is James Snead.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at him, 5 goals in 3 games. That's a big thing for the Waynesburg offense. We talked about it multiple times last year that Waynesburg on the men's and women's lacked offensive stability. So far this season, they've been able to find that. You'd like to see a couple more goals from a different cast throughout the season, but so far so good for the Waynesburg offense, allowing only 2 goals. So if he can keep that up and Waynesburg can keep up the offensive production that they've been putting on the board so far, I think it's going to be a good season for the boys and possibly competing for one of those top 3 positions in the PAC.
And one name that we mentioned with those stats that was atop the stats for the Jackets, Anthony McIntyre, actually injured his shoulder in their last game. So he's actually out for a couple weeks. So it's just kind of one of those things that this team is going to have to overcome. Obviously, they have a lot of other offensive production with the James Snead that we mentioned. And then you look at Cody Lemke, and there's a lot of potential scorers on this team besides that Anthony McIntyre. Then Nick Brommer had a goal. Colin Nelson and Zach Benedict, as I mentioned. So there's a lot of guys that can score on this team, so they're just going to have to, someone's going to have to step up in that place of Anthony McIntyre until he's able to come back from his injury. But like you said, if this team can keep it up and Brandon Daughtry can keep doing what he's doing in net, I think that they can have a very successful team.